I want you to imagine just for a second staring at a completely blank computer screen.
Oh, the dreaded blank page.
Exactly. I mean, you have this brilliant idea for a business, right? The passion is there, the business plan is sketched out. But now you actually have to build the website.
Which is where the excitement usually hits a brick wall.
It really does. Suddenly, you are drowning in hosting configurations. You're trying to decipher, like, DNS records.
No, DNS records are the absolute worst.
Right. You're wrestling with plugins that flat out refuse to talk to each other, and you're just generally questioning all of your life choices.
Yeah, taking an idea and making it exist on the internet has historically been just a massive nightmare of friction.
So I want you to imagine taking all of those technical hurdles, all of that friction, and replacing them with a simple, everyday conversation. You literally just speak your vision into existence.
Which brings us to the source material for today's deep dive. We're looking at a breakdown from Peakpod AI, focused on a platform called SiteDrop AI.
And they're really pioneering this concept of conversational web design.
Yeah, conversational web design. A phrase that, honestly, until very recently, was a complete oxymoron. I mean, web design has historically been anything but conversational. It's been highly technical, rigid, incredibly binary, and it usually required a massive upfront investment of either time, capital, or both.
So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out the mechanics of how this actually works. Like, we are going to unpack how you go from typing a simple text prompt to generating a complex, fully functional website.
Right.
But beyond just marveling at the technology, we really need to look at the economic implications here. Because we're going to explore how this fundamentally changes the entire freelance web design business model.
That's the real core of the breakdown, yeah.
We want to figure out, is this technology going to completely replace traditional web developers? Or is it just handing an entirely new set of superpowers to anyone who wants to start an agency?
Well, to understand that industry-wide impact, we first have to crack open the black box and look at the mechanics.
Let's do it.
We need to bridge that massive gap in understanding, because going from typing lines of code manually to simply instructing a machine in plain English, that's a huge leap.
It is, and the source material focuses heavily on SiteDrop AI, which is billed as a no-code AI website builder.
Right, no code.
But honestly, calling it no-code feels like it's really underselling the leap we are talking about here.
Oh, for sure, because no code used to mean, what, dragging and dropping a text box onto a grid?
Exactly. Dragging a box and just praying, it didn't look terrible when you opened it on a mobile phone.
Yeah, the mobile view was always a disaster.
Always. But this is entirely different. You literally just describe what you want. The examples in the Peakpod AI breakdown are incredibly straightforward.
Like the yoga studio one.
Yes. You just type a prompt like, build a modern website for a yoga studio, or create a luxury real estate landing page, and it just builds it.
And we have to clarify, it doesn't pull up a template. It creates it.
Right. That distinction between a static template and dynamic generation is so crucial.
It is the core of this entire shift. It isn't just going to some digital filing cabinet, finding a folder labeled yoga and slapping your business name on the header.
Yeah, that's what the old website builders did.
Exactly. This is generating the structural layouts from scratch. It's writing the text, sourcing or generating the images, and building the underlying website architecture on the fly.
All based on the specific parameters you gave it in that initial prompt.
Right.
You know, I was trying to wrap my head around this shift from a workflow perspective, and I keep coming back to this one analogy.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, traditional web design, even with those older no-code builders, it always felt to me like building a car from scratch.
Oh, I like that.
Right, because you have to understand how the engine connects to the transmission. You have to physically bolt the doors on. You have to paint it yourself. It requires this deep, specialized, hands-on knowledge of every single component.
Yeah, you're the mechanic, the engineer, and the painter all at once.
Exactly. But using a tool like SiteDrop AI feels entirely different. It feels like stepping onto a movie set as a director.
Let's map that out a bit, because that director analogy perfectly illustrates the underlying technical process here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on a movie set, you aren't the one holding the camera or adjusting the lighting rigs, right?
No, I'm sitting in the director's chair looking at the monitors. I'm just communicating my vision to the crew.
Exactly. You just say, make this scene moodier. Or give me more energy in this shot.
Right. I'm guiding the outcome without having to physically manipulate the heavy equipment.
And in this scenario, the AI is acting as that highly skilled crew. When you give it a prompt, say, that luxury real estate landing page, you aren't just giving it a topic.
What are you giving it then?
You're feeding the AI's large language model a complex set of semantic instructions. The model has to translate these really abstract concepts like luxury or modern vibe into concrete data.
So it's interpreting the feeling you want.
Yes, through semantic mapping. It knows from analyzing millions of data points that luxury real estate correlates with very specific design choices.
So it's essentially translating a vibe into math and code.
That is the magic trick right there. The AI's natural language processor acts as your script supervisor, understanding your intent.
Okay, I follow.
Then it talks to the CSS engine, which acts as your gaffer, adjusting the digital lighting, so to speak. It translates luxury into a pre-trained library of CSS variables.
Like what kind of variables?
Well, it might select a sophisticated serif font. It introduces ample white space into the layout so things can breathe. And it sets the hex codes for a muted, darker color palette.
Oh, that makes total sense. So it's making those high-level design decisions instantly.
Right. And meanwhile, the copy generation module is acting as your talent. It's swapping out careful, generic marketing speak for sharp, understated, high-end copy.
Because luxury real estate shouldn't sound like a used car commercial.
Exactly. And rather than typing raw HTML from scratch line by line, it's likely using a framework like React or Tailwind to just assemble modular responsive components instantly.
The truly fascinating part to me, though, is that this isn't a vending machine.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you don't just put your coin in, put your prompt in, get a website out, and say, well, I hope it's good. The process is an ongoing, iterative conversation.
Right. The initial prompt is just the starting line.
Exactly. The feedback loop is where the actual development happens. You look at what the AI generated, and you just continue to direct the crew.
You look at the monitor and give notes.
Yeah. You say, actually, change these background colors to be a bit warmer. Or rewrite this hero section to focus more on families instead of single buyer.
Or even structural things like move the contact form higher up on the page.
And the machine just handles the downstream cascade of those requests, which, if you think about traditional development,
That's a nightmare.
it really is. If I go to a human developer with a finished prototype and say, hey, can we completely change the color scheme and rewrite the core messaging? They are going to hate me.
They'll definitely roll their eyes, yeah.
Because that is a massive headache. They have to dig back into the CSS, alter global style sheets, rewrite the copy to fit the existing text boxes, and then just pray they don't break the mobile responsiveness in the process.
Yeah, that's hours of billable work. But with conversational design, you just state the desired outcome.
And the AI figures out how to execute the technical heavy lifting without breaking the underlying structure.
Right. So if the AI is handling all that downstream CSS fixing instantly, and it is generating the initial build in minutes.
Yeah.
Well, what's fascinating here is that it completely nukes the concept of billable hours for a freelancer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If a web designer isn't billing for the time spent manually writing and fixing code, what are they actually selling?
That is the trillion-dollar question right there.
Yeah.
And it shifts our entire focus from the technology itself to the business model it enables.
Let's talk about that business model.
Because SiteDrop AI isn't just positioning itself as a tool for, like, a local plumber to build their own site.
Right, they have a much bigger target audience in mind.
They are heavily targeting freelancers, agencies, side hustlers, and entrepreneurs who want to sell websites as a service to other people. It essentially operates as a complete business in a box.
The Peakpod AI breakdown really highlights this. It shows how SiteDrop acts as an all-encompassing ecosystem. And this is where we see the traditional agency model getting turned completely upside down.
Because it's not just the generator, right?
Exactly. The platform isn't just the AI generating the site. It has integrated the entire back-end operational stack.
What does that stack look like?
We're talking built-in hosting, custom domain management, client preview links. It even has invoicing tools and lead generation features built right in to help you find clients in the first place.
We really need to unpack why bundling all of that together is such a massive deal. Because if you have ever tried to freelance, you know that the actual coding is, what, maybe 40% of the job?
If that.
Yeah. The rest is absolute administrative misery. You are chasing down clients for hosting passwords. You're waiting 48 hours for DNS records to propagate just to get a domain connected.
Hitting refresh over and over.
Yes. You are managing different software subscriptions for your invoicing, your wireframing, your staging servers. It's just exhausting.
You're describing the exact traditional friction points that limit how many clients a single freelancer can take on.
It's a bottleneck.
A huge bottleneck. Think about the old way. An agency pitches a client, signs a contract, and then spends weeks wireframing, designing, coding, integrating those domains, setting up the hosting environment, and finally launching.
Weeks of work.
Right. And the client is paying a premium for those weeks of specialized technical labor and project management.
Now.
But this AI ecosystem compresses all of that administrative and technical overhead into a single interface.
The speed advantage here feels almost unfair to traditional agencies.
It really does.
I mean, a freelancer using this platform could get on a discovery call with a potential client, listen to their needs, type a few prompts while the client's actually still talking.
Just typing away in the background.
Exactly. And literally show them a live, functional preview of their new website before the Zoom call even ends.
That's wild. The time from concept to prototype shrinks from 3 weeks to 3 minutes.
It's a total paradigm shift.
You launch fast. The hosting and domains are already integrated within the platform. You send the invoice through that same ecosystem, and you immediately move on to the next project.
So it changes how you make money.
Completely. The efficiency gains shift the business model from high-margin, low-volume custom builds to high-volume, rapid deployment.
Okay, wait. I have to jump in here and push back on this vision of the future.
Sure, push back. What's the concern?
Because whenever we talk about extreme efficiency, rapid deployment, and AI generation, a massive alarm bell goes off for me.
The quality issue.
Yes. If it is truly this easy to generate a site, and freelancers are just churning these out in minutes to maximize their volume, doesn't the internet just become a massive sea of identical, boring, cookie-cutter garbage?
It's a very valid fear.
Right. If everyone is using the same underlying foundational models to generate their sites, I'm looking at this and thinking it's a fast track to the most generic internet imaginable.
Okay, so that assumes the user is engaging in lazy prompting. It assumes they are just taking the first output the AI gives them and walking away.
Which, let's be honest, a lot of people will do.
Sure, some will, but it's a common fear that misunderstands how advanced these tools are actually becoming. Generic output is a user error now, not a fundamental technological limitation.
But the AI is trained on averages, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if I tell it to build a site for a plumber, it pulls from the established patterns of what a plumbing website typically looks like out there in the world.
Yes.
So the baseline output is inherently going to be incredibly average.
The baseline, yes, absolutely. If you just type plumber website, you get a generic blue and white template with a stark photo of a guy holding a wrench.
Right, which is boring.
Very boring. But the platform allows for what we call style seeding and complex parameter tuning. A skilled operator doesn't just stop at that first prompt.
What do they do differently?
They feed the AI specific brand guidelines. They use negative prompts, literally telling it what not to do. They set strict structural constraints. They essentially force the AI out of its probabilistic comfort zone.
Ah, okay. So the AI is really just the cure for the blank page syndrome we talked about at the beginning.
Exactly. It builds the foundation instantly, so you don't have to waste time doing the rote repetitive tasks. You don't have to manually set up navigation bars or link style sheets.
That makes a lot of sense. So the absolute best results, the sites that actually stand out, capture attention, and convert customers, those come from combining the sheer speed and heavy lifting of the AI with human curation.
Human taste and decision-making are still the secret sauce.
Going back to our analogy, the AI fills the car, but the human still has to decide where they want to drive it and how they want to customize the interior.
Perfectly said.
And this completely reframes the role of the freelancer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They aren't selling the AI's first draft. They are selling their taste.
They act as an editor.
Right. They are looking at that structural foundation and saying, no, that font is too corporate. Let's inject a brutalist design aesthetic here. Or, no, that image is too stock photo. Let's swap it for something authentic and slightly offbeat.
The tool doesn't replace the need for a designer's eye. It just executes the designer's commands at the speed of thought.
Which brings us back to your earlier question about what a freelancer is actually selling if they aren't billing for coding time.
Right.
They are selling their human curation, their strategic understanding of the client's business, and their ability to guide the AI toward a unique outcome.
The value shifts entirely from technical execution to creative direction.
So if we establish that human taste and strategic direction are still the premium products being sold here, We really need to look at how this AI-human partnership is reshaping the broader creative economy.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's massive.
Because this isn't just about some freelancer spinning up a yoga studio website faster.
No, we are witnessing the collapse of historical barriers to entry across the board. For decades, as the source material notes, bringing any kind of digital idea to life required a whole team.
Or at least one person with a deeply technical, very diverse skill set.
Exactly. You needed a front-end designer, a back-end developer, a database architect. You needed someone who understood server environments.
Use an exclusive club.
Right.
If you didn't have the technical skills to build it yourself, or, the huge budget to hire an agency to build it for you, your idea was basically dead on arrival.
But today, that technical gatekeeper is gone. Someone with zero coding experience but a brilliant business concept can validate that concept, build a high-quality prototype, and launch it to the global market in an afternoon.
It's unbelievable.
The currency of the digital economy has shifted dramatically from technical execution to pure ideation.
And what's wild is that this exact same shockwave is hitting entirely different industries simultaneously.
Oh, yeah.
The Peakpod AI breakdown lists a bunch of other fields experiencing this right now. App development, graphic design, content creation, video production, digital marketing. AI is acting as a massive creative accelerator everywhere at once.
It's the same pattern everywhere.
But why now? Why are all these separate disciplines being disrupted at the exact same moment?
It really comes down to the evolution of the underlying AI architecture. We are moving away from specialized single-task algorithms to multimodal foundational models.
Multimodal meaning?
Meaning these newer neural networks don't just understand text anymore. They map relationships across visual space, code structure, audio frequencies, and language all simultaneously.
Oh.
Because they understand the underlying logic of how, say, a video frame relates to a line of text, or how a design mock-up relates to a CSS framework. A single text prompt can suddenly generate an app interface, a marketing video, or a functional website.
So it's treating all creative output as just different dialects of the exact same language.
Exactly. And looking specifically at web design and platforms like SiteDrop, understanding that trajectory really forces us to look ahead. This raises a very important question.
What's that?
We know that today, AI can build a site from a text prompt and give you a static, functional product. But these multimodal models are compounding in capability. What happens when the system goes beyond just the initial build and enters the maintenance phase?
Oh, wow. Wait, what happens when the website basically becomes an autonomous agent?
Exactly. Imagine an AI that doesn't just build the site, but automatically manages the ongoing content updates.
Just on its own?
Yes. It constantly runs its own A/B tests to optimize conversion rates. It's redesigning the landing page slightly every single night based on user data.
That's kind of terrifying, but amazing.
It autonomously handles all the SEO adjustments based on shifting search algorithms, and it dynamically changes the customer experience based on the specific behavior of the person clicking through the site in real time.
So it completely stops being just a website builder. It becomes an automated digital employee.
Right.
A web manager that never sleeps, never takes a vacation, and is constantly optimizing your business.
And that is where the traditional web development industry faces its most profound disruption.
Let's see why.
The traditional agency model of charging a hefty monthly retainer just to update a few plugins, post some blogs, and tweak some metadata, that is going to evaporate.
Totally.
If the maintenance, optimization, and growth of a site are completely automated by the platform itself, the human role has to evolve radically.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this right now?
Yeah.
Whether you are a small business owner trying to get off the ground, a freelancer trying to navigate this shifting landscape, or just someone fascinated by where technology is dragging us.
It means we are rapidly moving toward a new reality.
A reality where building, deploying, and managing a complex online business is literally as easy as describing an idea out loud.
The translation from abstract thought to functional digital reality is becoming entirely seamless.
Now, it does not mean the developers are going to just vanish tomorrow.
No, absolutely not.
There will always be a need for highly specialized engineers to build the underlying infrastructure, to create the AI models themselves, and to solve complex, bespoke enterprise problems.
You still need the architects of the system.
Exactly. But for the vast majority of the internet, the small businesses, the creators, the digital storefronts, it absolutely democratizes the ability to create. You no longer need to know how to code to have a voice, a presence, or a thriving business online.
Tools like SiteDrop AI are signaling that the age of AI-assisted creation isn't some distant science fiction concept anymore. It is the current operational standard.
The technical execution of building on the web has basically been entirely commoditized.
It really has.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating implication to chew on as we wrap up.
What's that?
Well, if we are entering a world where technical perfection is essentially free, where absolutely anyone can spin up a flawlessly coded, beautifully optimized, lightning-fast, highly responsive website in exactly 3 minutes just by asking a machine to do it, how will businesses actually stand out tomorrow?
That is the ultimate paradox of automation, isn't it?
It is, when flawless AI-generated perfection becomes the absolute baseline, literally the bare minimum that every single competitor possesses perfection, completely loses its premium value.
So what becomes valuable then?
Exactly. If I could get a perfect, sleek, modern, AI-generated corporate website for $20 a month, maybe the only way to actually capture human attention is to go in the exact opposite direction.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Are we going to see the internet experience a massive return to handcrafted, delightfully messy, deeply human, almost rebellious design, just to prove that a real person is behind the screen?
That would be a wild full circle moment.
It really would be. It's definitely something to think about the next time you scroll past a website that looks just a little too perfect. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.